Jeff on the C Spire text line. Hey, Richard, would like your thoughts, please. I'm excited about Ole Miss making it in. You've kept up pretty good with the team. In your opinion, do they have a realistic chance at making it to Omaha? If so, I will plan on taking one of my vacation weeks to go there. Please, I value your opinion. Jeff, as it pertains to your vacation time, I don't know what your company's policy is, but if you have to ask for that time off like 2 or 3 or 4 weeks in advance, and so like you're up against it right now and you've got to either take the time off or not, I would only take that week off if you were willing to go on vacation that week, whether it is Omaha or otherwise, whether it's a vacation to Omaha or somewhere else or just a staycation. Does Ole Miss have the potential to get to the College World Series? Yeah, they do. Is there anything that they have done outside of a single 17-day window over the course of 100 days that makes you think that this team is going to put it all together in back-to-back weekends to get there? I mean, you haven't seen it, right?
No,
the only time you saw Ole Miss play well for an extended period was a 3-game home sweep of Missouri, who did not make the SEC baseball tournament, and then a 3-game sweep of LSU. And in between those two, you had a midweek win at Southern Miss. That was the high water mark for Ole Miss baseball in 2021. Here's the thing, though, right? The way they played in that 7-game stretch gives you a little bit of hope. It showed you what the team was capable of based on what you thought they were going to be coming into the season. But then they followed that up by losing 2 of 3 at home to Texas A&M, who's obviously a really good baseball team, right? That's the number 5 national seed, and they won the West. But Texas A&M and Tennessee, for example, I mean, Tennessee's best team in college baseball by a wide margin this year. They're not even in the same stratosphere. And Texas A&M is nowhere near as good as some of the elite SEC teams that we have seen through the years. They don't have dominant starting pitching. They're pretty good offensively. And they're getting healthier offensively as well. The point being, though, is Ole Miss played a good but not an elite team when they were playing really, really well. And they didn't play well in the first game. It was close. They dominated the second game. And they didn't play very well in the third game. So that's a lot to say. Is this Ole Miss team capable of winning the Coral Gables Regional? Yeah. I think they've got to do it in 3 or 4 games. I do not think that Ole Miss can lose game 1 to Arizona and win that regional. I don't think they got enough pitching. They've got to win and not only that, let me take it a step farther. I don't think they can lose the second game and win the regional. The path for Ole Miss to win the Coral Gables Regional is win game 1 and game 2. Because then even if you lose game 3, you're only going 4 starters deep. And I don't know who that 4th starter is, by the way. DeLucia's got to be good. Elliott's got to be really good. Diamond's got to give you 4 innings, and you need a not depleted bullpen going into that game. And then if you lose that one, you're going to have to slug your way to a championship game win.
So McDaniel gets that start, you think?
I mean, I guess. Mm-hmm. Drew McDaniel has been good twice in the last 2 years. And when I say good, I mean like exceptional. Against Georgia in the SEC tournament last year, he was elite. And against Southern Miss in Hattiesburg on that Tuesday night in May, he was elite.
Yeah. He pitched well in the Governor's Cup, too.
He did. You're right. He did pitch well in the Governor's Cup. That is accurate.
Well,
but against Texas A&M, he gave up a 3-run bomb and a grand slam.
Well, that second home run should have never been allowed to happen. But either way,
but he gave it up.
I mean, history doesn't matter. I don't like when people use history as like a reason to make a bet. For example, this team hasn't won in this stadium since 1996. Well, the team that won in 96 is not anything in relation to now. However, it still stands to point out that Ole Miss winning this regional would be an unprecedented thing under Mike Bianco. 22 years, they have never once advanced to a super regional through a road regional. Never done it. Have been to one regional final on the road, and obviously they lost it. Never done it before.
The regional final was in College Station, right?
That's right, where they lost to Jim Schlossnagle, right, in TCU? Yeah. In 22, that's a mind-blowing
and that's after
stat.
they had beaten them the first time they played them.
Yeah. It's crazy to think about, but they have not advanced to a super regional on the road in 22 years. Haven't done it. So this would be the first time in 2 decades plus 2 that they have advanced to a super regional on the road.
Somebody says, was the high water mark sweeping Missouri and LSU, or was it being ranked number 1 nationally at one point? For me, it was the Missouri, Southern Miss, LSU span on the schedule, because they got to number 1 not playing well. They got to number 1 as a function of where they were ranked to start the season and what happened in the first month of the year.
I don't think you can. I mean, number 1 has to be the high water mark, and then that was the bounce back. Like that was the peak late season was the way they played there at the end.
Well, it
I mean,
depends
you're
on
number 1 in the nation. That has to be the high water mark.
It depends on what your definition of high water mark is. So you're talking about when the team was playing its best, or the thing
that's
to
the point
remember
that I was
from the
making,
season?
or was trying to illustrate.
I get what you're saying.
The point of the season in which they were playing the best was that Missouri, Southern Miss, LSU stretch. Yes, they got to number 1. I'm with you. And that's great for Twitter graphics.
Yeah.
That's all it means, though. I mean, that's all it means.
Right.
Being a diehard State fan, I am pulling for Ole Miss just to extend baseball season.
I'm sure that's why. I'm sure that's why. There's no other ulterior motive there.
You do you, friend.
Yeah, but I mean, there are people that look at it that way. I know you are not one of them, Haydad, but there
are people who pull for the
watched
state of
every
Mississippi.
game of Mississippi State in the College World Series because, 1, I watched college baseball, and 2, I was interested because a team from the state of Mississippi was there, and 3, because it's partly my job.
That's a bad example because you had to watch those games.
Yeah, but I'm a college baseball fan and would have watched it regardless. My level of interest was far higher because State was in it.
The use of the word pull, were you actively cheering for Mississippi State?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I wasn't cheering against them. No, I mean, I wasn't.
No, I'm just saying, but you're just like,
you know what, I'm getting.
If I say I'm pulling for you,
gear.
I'm cheering, you know? Yeah. I'm cheering for you. That's what pulling means. And, do I want to keep, I mean, honestly, it's best for us professionally for Ole Miss and Southern to win, so we have another week of content. And we're not, if they both get knocked out this week, we got to dive into something else. We could use the content.
Chris in Oxford says, of course, I don't know about the stripes. I only weigh $125.
It's true.
I weigh more than that.
$125. At your height, $125, you would be a bean pole, my friend.
Yeah. I have a number that I want to get back to. But I can't really say that I want to get back to a certain number when I don't do anything to try and get to that number. The last time I went to the doctor for, whatever, sinus infection or something like that, I stepped on the scale. I kind of cringed, honestly. It was over 2 bills.
Doctor cringes when I get on the scale.
Well, yeah. So
you're like, ooh.
I need to be in that, 190 spot. That's where I need to be. But I got some work to do to get